Ta-ra, as the English would say. Well, I am back. I've taken a few days off. Sorry about that. I had a social calendar that I had to abide by with my wife, and so I didn't foresee that coming up. So I never had a chance to post in the last 4 or 5 days. My son had a lacrosse game, his final lacrosse game at home. It was the homecoming, so we had to get ready for that, and we had birthday parties and so on and so forth. So my social calendar was quite full, so I never got a chance to upload any new videos to YouTube, my YouTube channel. But I'm back, and just an update, I haven't had an opportunity yet to do my 30-day challenge as far as speaking to someone in Spanish, so it's going to be more like a 40-day challenge instead of 30. But again, that's what happens in life sometimes. We just move on from there. So without further ado, first thing I want to address too is people were asking why, some friends of mine were asking why my intro, why I have the intro that I have on this Scholar site. Well, more about Scholar is coming up in the not too distant future, but Scholar basically is an online teaching and learning application where we are looking for teachers right now that teach anything to anybody all over the world, whether it's basket weaving, whether it's recipes or cooking, or whether it's making what do they call it for the fishing lures, or whether they do teach trigonometry, spin class, everything. It's a one-stop shop. I like to call it the Amazon basically of online teaching. So if you do, I'll leave the link below, but if you have a hobby that you like to do and you like to teach other people and make some extra money on the side, then please do not hesitate to click on the link below, scholar.biz, and then sign up as a teacher. It's free to sign up, it doesn't cost you a dime, and we'll go from there. We will market you and let people know that you are up and running and ready to take on individual classes, or you can even do group classes. There's a video coming out on that soon, and if you look in the videos I already have, I believe there is a video there that says, and I'll see if I can link it up here somewhere. There is a video there that shows you how to set up your profile on the Scholar site, so you can get set up. And again, it's free. We don't charge a dime until you start teaching, and even then it's very minimal. I think it's 15% we take. So anyway, so I digressed a little bit. So what I wanted to talk about today was I found an excellent way to use decks. Some people are really against flashcards. I'm not. I'm a big proponent of flashcards because I believe they work if you can stick to them. And Anki is my favorite flashcard making application. So one thing I thought to myself, what can I do to boost my use of Anki deck? Well, my full-time job, I am a home inspector, and so I interact with a lot of Hispanic-speaking buyers that buy the homes when I do the inspections. And typically we would have a translator there. Sometimes the agent would be typically Hispanic, and they would translate what I was saying. And I thought to myself, well, this is one of the reasons I'm learning Spanish too. But I thought to myself, well, it would be nice if I could actually speak to them myself. And so what I decided to do is I started putting, and as you can see right here on the Anki deck where my arrow is pointing, I started a new deck. As you can see at the top here, it's got decks. So I clicked on decks and started a new deck, and I called it Home Inspection Spanish. Okay, and so what I did was click on Home Inspection Spanish. Okay, so now that's opened up, and I can add to it. I can add new cards. But one thing I want to tell you before I do that is, another thing that people seem to shy away from is using Google Translate. I love Google Translate. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. But it gets you talking, it gets you reading, it gets you understanding more things. So I say use it, and use it as much as you like, because you're going to get corrected over time, but you're going to at least have the base down of what to do and how to say a certain phrase a certain way. Is it always perfect? Like I said, no, not at all. So without further ado, I am going to show you exactly how I add to my deck. As you can see right here, it says study now too. So I've made a few cards already and I can click on study now. But what I'm going to do is show you what I did first to add to the deck, and then I'll show you some of the studies, some of the cards that I'd made already. Some of the flashcards that I'd made already. So I'm going to add to my deck. So I'm going to click on add at the top here. First of all, I opened up the home inspection Spanish. It took me to this page, and I'm going to add to the deck. Okay, I'm going to make that large now, so it's all up there. Now it's up to you. You can have the Spanish words on the front, or you can have the Spanish words on the phrases on the back. It's entirely up to you. It doesn't matter. It's going to flip them over regardless. It's going to use the front one time and the back another time, so it doesn't really matter. Generally, I use the English phrase at the top, or the English sentence at the top, and then the translated into Spanish at the bottom. And again, remember, this is for any language. This is not just for Spanish. So if you're learning Chinese, this is a great way to do it too. And if you have a hobby that you're interested in, then maybe make a deck saying phrases that pertain to your hobby. So now I go down to Google Translate, and I'm just going to do one sentence to show you. I'm going to change this back, flip this over, and change this to Spanish over here. So for instance, one of the items I find on my home inspections that come up quite often is there are cracks in the stucco at the exterior of the house. So I will put cracks noted in the stucco material. Okay, now the translation is it perfect? I don't know. And we can listen to the translated version right here.
Grietas observadas en el material de estuco.
De estuco.
Grietas observadas en el material de estuco.
Okay, so now I've gotten that down there. So now what I do is I highlight this and I will copy it. Copy the English sentence, go back to my Anki deck, and I will add it. Okay, then I will go back to my Google Translate here, and I will copy this. It's a great thing, you can just copy translation right here. This one doesn't have it. Now on your phone, it does have the ability to copy just like this, but on the website, for some reason, it doesn't seem to do that. So now I can copy this, copy translation. I can go back to my Anki deck, and I can put in the translation right there. Okay, so that's done, and I will add that to my deck. Now I'm going to add one more before we go back to what I had already written prior, or the decks that I'd made, the flashcards I'd made earlier. So let me see here. So another one that is quite common is for us, again, we're going to stick to the stucco, stucco damaged. That's it. And that's it. So we can actually listen to the translation also here.
Estuco dañado.
Estuco dañado.
Stucco damaged.
Estuco dañado.
So I'm going to copy this, so I make sure I have it verbatim. Click on here, click on the front, and add that. And then I can go back to the phrase in Spanish, copy it, go back to my Anki deck, and add it. So that is now added. Okay, so now without further ado, I'm going to close this out because it's already added to my deck. And I am going to my Anki right here, and I'm going to click study. So click on study, and the roof material is wearing. That's one of the ones I wrote the other day. I don't remember if it's el techo, el material, material. Sometimes I get confused with French. El material techo is wearing this gando. Show my result here. El material del techo se está desgastando. And I don't know that well enough yet, so I'm going to click down the bottom here where it says again in 1 minute, or hard 6 minutes, good 10 minutes, easy 4 days. Well, it wasn't easy for me, so I'm going to click on show me again in a minute. Second one, we recommend you have the roof inspected by a qualified contractor. So you see what I mean? These are all recommendations that I would say to the buyer of the home. So these are important to know and to recognize. But you also remember you're learning these phrases, but you can also change these phrases to whatever you want. We recommend you have the sinks inspected by a qualified contractor. We recommend that you have the air conditioning inspected by a qualified contractor. That's where you would take the word roof and you would change it to whatever you wanted, because you're going to know these words as you go along learning about your business. It's a great way to keep you motivated. I just wanted to share that with you. It's a great way to keep you motivated, and it's a great way for you to enhance your speaking skills, to enhance your knowledge of Spanish, because even though you may say this refers to your business, these phrases, these words can be used in everyday life too. It's not just recommendations for that. There's certain conversations that you're going to have, and you're going to use these sentences and be able to jumble them up and get across your point. So that's all I wanted to show you today. I'm going to continue on. What I did was, just to digress for a second, what I did was the first day I put in about 6 in my Anki deck, the new Anki deck. That's all I needed for the day, so I can study those. I'm going to study those for about 3 days, 2 or 3 days, until I have them in my head. Then I'm going to add another 6. But at the same time, 3 days from now, it's already, when I start my Anki deck again, or start learning again, it's still going to show me some of the ones I had written in there before, just to refresh my memory. So it's not like all of a sudden 6 more are going to come up and you're going to forget those other 6. No, they're going to come up because you said, I know it, but let me review it again in 4 days. Let me review it again in 6 days, and so on and so forth. Because it's a spaced repetition program. So it's spaced repetition to say, just before you forget it, we're going to remind you again and tell you exactly what it was, that sentence was, and see if you still remember it. That way it's going to stick in your head. Okay, that's the best thing that I can tell you, and one of the most useful things, should I say, about Anki that I love. There are other decks out there too. So anyway, I digress again. So let me get out of here because I've been on for way too long, and I will see you again in a couple of days. I'm cutting back on, I won't be doing this daily for the foreseeable future. Probably try and get 1 video out a week if I can, maybe 2, and give you some of the updates on what's going on. And please look forward to, look out for my 30-day, or should I say more like 40-day conversational Spanish, again, rudimentary Spanish. Okay, one other thing before I leave, and I said that already before, I'm going to look at some other ways of studying that people study, and there's one I want to show you that I picked up from online that I really would like to show you, that you might find rather interesting. But look out for this later on. You're just going to utilize basically a magazine, and you're going to be able to learn how to speak a language just by looking at a magazine. Anyway, sounds kind of weird, but trust me, I've watched it happen and it does work. So anyway, I'm going to go. Have a great rest of the week, and I will see you soon. Remember, don't forget to click on one of these links right here to look at some of the old videos that I've made, and also don't forget to check out Scholar if you want to become a teacher, or because we need to start building up the site, and we'd love to get you on board teaching whatever it is you teach, whatever it is you're good at. Come and teach it on Scholar, because you can teach it to people all over the world. So come on board, scholar.biz. I'll leave the link in the description below, and make sure you use Anki. Ta-ra, as the English would say.